So greetings, and welcome to Context Matters. The date is March 12th, 2026. If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. There's something that's called historically beware the Ides of March. March is the time of year where many things happen. A change is gonna come, things like that. But if you are thinking about the Jamaican space, well, naturally, we're gonna have a conversation today about the budget debate. The show is entitled Poor People versus Taxes. And I'm just going to give you a breakdown. Shout out to MP Julian Robinson, an opposition spokesman on finance. He gave his contribution today, and I must tell you, very humbling, opened the eyes about what is management of a country, what finance looks like, and how to ensure that post hurricane, post disaster, how to take away the pressure from off the people, a recovery that does not include the people or imposition of taxes that will further burden people who find it difficult to recover is a budget that is not for the people. So we're going to have that conversation. Public service announcement, though. I want people to understand that Context Matters is aired on Reggae Global Radio. It's also aired on Best FM 100. It's aired on Coda Network. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, lo and behold, daylight saving times affects the time or the hour that the show starts. So next week, Thursday, Context Matters, should it be aired, is going to be aired at 4 o'clock Jamaican time, which remains 5 o'clock in the United States. So the show is generally 5 to 7 p.m. United States time. So when daylight savings time changes, it affects how we broadcast in Jamaica. So the new time until daylight saving times return, I should say, is gonna be, or it's here now, whichever one, however that works, it's going to be 4 to 6 in Jamaica, and it remains 5 to 7 in the United States. But the content is what is content, and finding the context that's most important. So thank you for those of you who are joining me. Your thoughts, your actions, your comments are important to me. I want to say big up to all the loyal listeners, the loyal viewers. For those of you who didn't expect Context Matters to be here today, I must say that Julian, who is now having his celebratory gathering at the S Hotel, as soon as I'm finished doing this show, I will head over there. Hopefully they're still there, but time waits on no one, right? But I must say congratulations to the opposition spokesperson on finance, Julian Robinson, and we're gonna deal with just things that's happening in Jamaica. And naturally, as a member of parliament for Portland, what's really happening in our neck of the woods right now is the bypass, the Port Antonio bypass. And we're going to talk about that because many things are happening. So I'll be saying a lot, but I think that at some point we start to have conversations about what are we living for? Why are we living? Who are we living for, and what are the things we should be hoping for in a free and democratic society? And that's the context that we're going to be setting today. So again, poor people versus taxes, and that's the starting place. So after last week, Thursday and Friday, leaving Parliament 12 o'clock on both days. That's 12 a.m. Um, a very lengthy standing finance committee where, members of parliament were able to question the ministers and their ministries about the budget. The budget at the end of the day is just a whole bunch of money spending, and it is who it has spent on and what is this about and how is it going to be better for the people. Well, here's the reality. When you think about the electoral process and you think about the voter turnout and how low and unfortunate the voting population is in the Jamaican space, it really says to you, wow, what is it that we are hoping to achieve in terms of a developing country? Well, here's my response to that. The budget is usually what government use to navigate the space, develop the country, think on issues from, I'm the spokesperson for youth, human rights, and this is a significant portfolio in case persons are wondering. But there are spokespersons for many things. So when you start to think about the constitution, when you think about finance, when you think about sports, when you think about education, when you think about tourism, economic growth, just each and every ministry, local government, when you want to think about garbage collection, when you want to think about water, when you want to think about the environment, when you want to think about land and road and just every single thing, there's a ministry that deals with all of this, and the budgetary allocations to each ministry and how the minister will spend the the money that is allocated to them, and how they balance the lives of the people and whether or not they include the people is going to always be important. For some of us, nothing changes. We don't care who is in power. We don't care what happened. In fact, some of us say we not even vote, cause it not change my life. Well, lo and behold, the person that you vote for at the end of the day is going to be the person who is responsible for spending taxpayers' money, for implementing taxes on you, whether they're going to ease your burdens or they're going to make your burden heavier. So it is the duty of every citizen to know what's going on, because what you're gonna find is that your lifestyle is going to change dramatically if you don't know what is going on. And the last thing you want to do, if you Google Marvin Gaye, he has a mega hit song, What's Going On? But if you check the title of his song, he always want to know who, he want to know what, he want to know where, he want to know when, he want to know why. Marvin Gaye don't ever know nothing. His entire musical career and catalog was asking questions that he clearly never had the answers to. You don't want to be a citizen in this country that you don't know the answers to questions. You don't know why. One day them saying it's free health care, the constitution is saying free education up to the primary level, and then nobody knows whether or not free education is actually happening. You want to know whether or not you have access to facilities that will make your life better, right? All of these things are so important and essential to your existence that nobody is inviting you to know the maths, but just like how when you go at the supermarket or you go to your favorite fast food restaurant or you go to your favorite place to eat, you know how much money you're spending and you know how much you must get back so that nobody trick you. You also don't want to leave your house one day assuming that things were a particular way and then inflation made it different, or you took out a loan and then bank decided to raise the interest rate when you thought you had a deal, it's no longer a deal, and then you put yourself in contracts and situations that will just turn your life upside down, and the road to recovery for you individually is next to impossible. So I want people to understand, I want people to appreciate that there are so many things that's happening around you that if you stop and listen or try to get some understanding of what is happening, just maybe, you will make decisions for the future of yourself and the generations that follow, thinking and not thinking that because you are you form the least among us, because you get up and say I am poor so my voice don't matter, or what I say don't matter. Because you see politicians have a tendency to find you when they tend to find you when they need you to vote and you're suddenly the most important individual. But what of the situation where see, somebody said, aside from voting, how can we affect change? Well, the most significant way to affect change is voting. But the most significant way is to become knowledgeable of the reasons, the object and purpose why you need to vote and who you are voting for. For instance, if your finances were significant to your survival, one of the biggest reasons why you were to vote was to choose whether or not the current finance minister was the person you wanted to steer your finances. That is a simple reason to vote. Now, if you like to drive in all bus and it broke down by you from time to time, then obviously the current transport minister is the minister for you. But if you get tricked and them say, "Oh well, I just learned that old bus is old and I can't, and we have to get new ones now. So I waste your money and I can accept that I waste your money." If that's what you want, then you have a perfect reason to vote in that way. So when somebody says, what apart from voting, what is it that I can do? What you can do is to protect your human rights and ensure that government, the people that serve you, is not violating them. Ensure the people that you choose to manage the country are people who are competent, and so you don't have heart surgeons as your security personnel and PR people as your health personnel. That's just a matter of style, just that of portfolio and management. But knowing is it, the GI Joe was a cartoon years ago, and they say knowing is half the battle. Well, that is the reality. Knowledge is power. So, if that is the case, you would then appreciate that if you don't know what's going on, you don't know how it's going to affect you. For instance, today, well, on Tuesday, the finance minister, Flavor Williams, you see how I said Flavor and his favor, but as you know, Flavor Flav, him used to have a show on VH1. Some about flavor love. Something. He was the ugliest human being on the face of the earth. And he was finding love on VH1. So you see? And every sometime clown business, there's a time and place for it. So we know our finance minister that says, in her budget speech, I think the most significant part of her speech is that she is the first female finance minister in Jamaica. Very significant achievement and kudos. But thereafter, we have to ask ourselves, or we have to start to think about the other issues that are of utmost importance. For instance, the imposition of taxes to raise revenue for the government at a post Melissa. And one of the significant ones is sugary drinks. Now everybody know the beverage of choice when you broke and on money is a bag juice. So taxes on bag juice means that you had every intention to tax the poor. And then you said, we are taxing sugary drinks because we want people to stop drinking sugary drinks. And therefore, when you don't drink the sugary drinks, diabetes is going to go down. That is our mission, our object and purpose. And the health sector agrees and all of that. Save and except for the government projects to make $10 billion on the taxing of sugary drinks, which suggests that it is not a lifestyle change, but is a tax that will significantly affect poor people. And let just in case you never know, bottled water is taxed. So don't take it lightly that the many that the very thing that people use for survival is the very thing that they bring taxes on. And people are gonna say, yeah, Isaac, but you defend the slackness and the sugar and the diabetes and the number one killer in Jamaica, diabetes and heart disease and hypertension. So you should want to see these things happening. Of course, we want a significant lifestyle change, which is why when they were making the bullas and the Nutribon and the pink milk and everything that they were giving students in school as a part of the school feeding program was not akin to the very removal of sugary drinks. So I say to you, taxing sugary drinks at this time post Melissa is an attack on poor people. They can do niceties and they can say whatever they want. That is the reality. And it inviting those of us that fall into the middle class and we glad say we not say we're poor and pop them, but we help ourselves. Yeah, back in the days, man no drink back juice pan base. No, we have to draw for the song and I say, man, I drink back juice pan base, cause the taxes are gonna kill we and it up in our face. And that's where we reach now. We don't have a choice. Yeah? And the people them not top drink the sugar drinks. Yeah? Because me I tell you, if gas take you or if you pass out and says mix up the sugar water and give real quick. So it is what it is. And if lime tree lane still there, the lime still there, lime still there on tree, so them still are gonna make it. And if quenchade is still your number one, you're still gonna do it. So me I gotta tell you, so me not ask Christ. Just like how no matter how them raise the price over KFC, the line still full. Certain things, there's certain lifestyle changes that's not gonna happen overnight. So the government look and say, how can we tax poor people? Because are them always a spend. They have the spending power, though they don't know. And they say just tax the sugar drink, cause them have whole heap of picnic and them buy the bag juice them and buy it in a bungle. Enough bag juice and bag in a bungle. Yeah. And so we have not, that one, somebody said people now gonna have no energy. Yeah, they're gonna have the energy because they're still going to find themselves paying the taxes and still continuing to bring and to consume the beverage. So guess what? Ching ching ching, $10 billion for the government taxing poor people. Yeah, and I can tell you, if you look at the disparity, when you look at the disparity between the taxing of the Starbucks and the mocha chocolate, that yeah, lady marmalade style, you will get the understanding that there is a tax on poor people, and people can the economists let them shut me up. But me I talk to my people and make them know, say, listen, and it not easy when you're trying and people are excluding you. Because even the man will sell bag juice, how am I gonna make a thing now when the taxes are reach it? And the man will stand up in the hot sun, sell every little sugary drinks because them know say when people are buy them box juice, them want a quick drinks, trying to exclude you. But for those of you who are okay with that, let's move to the digital space and the taxing of the digital paraphernalia. Well, when this tax first came out, and I must tell you, Julian Robinson today made it clear this is not the way. And I'm going to make it because I was listening. And one of the most significant thing he said about the sugar drinks is that you're not making the alternatives. You are not making the process where the manufacturers over time would be the persons who would make the adjustments in terms of the road to reducing the sugary additives and making alternatives that would be subsidized to change for a change in lifestyle. That's what I heard. So if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. But just hear me out. The people have to understand that if we are really conflating issues, we should separate them, because that's what's happening. We want to stop diabetes, and we want to stop hypertension, and we want to eradicate unhealthy living and unhealthy lifestyle across Jamaica, right? So you see, that's why you should have listened to Julian Robinson. Somebody said PNP would still have to tax poor people, and that's the most inaccurate statement that you have made. And that's why they said knowledge is power. And every time people make things political, rather, every time somebody gets up and try to champion the cause for poor people, they make it political. There are poor people who are labor rights too. This is not a PNP JLP conversation. And if you don't know anything about economics, you don't just get up and just jump out and do ad hominem, attacking the person, attack the messenger, and say, yeah, PNP would have to tax the people then. That's that response says that you're okay with destroying the lives of poor people. You're okay with being Julius Caesar. You're okay with that. And that's good for you. But like I say, performative stability must be rejected. You can't be poor and then pretending to be rich. You can't suffer and pretending that because you are a part of a class of people, i.e., I am a labor right, so I am all right because my government is in power, but you are suffer. That cannot be the reality of your life, and you use performative stability to hide the fact that you are suffering. It must be rejected. And I'm just responding to that. But to say that alternatives on where it comes to the sugary, we want to be able to say, are you telling farmers that we are going to make subsidies so that you can use natural juices, and that you can make this available in schools, so that you can make it available for the less fortunate, so that you can wean people off. They say it take 21 days to break a habit, but also that people have to treat sugar like an addiction, and then people have to gradually get to a change, a lifestyle change, that there must be subsidies and substitutes. This government is also taxing diet products and sugary non-sugary additives that are healthier. So when you look at it, they're not looking and saying maybe the athletes who require energy drinks to go and represent us, that we shouldn't tax that or make it tax exempt for the people who are going to perform during world championships and Olympics, because they're taxing that as well. Everything that has sugar content. And if you drink Arizona, you would understand what's going on. But more so, what the laughable aspect of it is that, yeah, they're taxing alcohol. So the people them that make it their point of duty to wake up in the morning and have them rum and them boom, you never did vote and you never care and you just a do your thing 'cause you're not part of society, them a tax you. So when you go to your favorite bar and it's going to be expensive for you is because you fail to understand what was going on in your country. And if you think you were stressed and the reason for your rum and boom addiction is now going to be worse, and because you're suffering from an addiction, you're going to have to find it to feed your habit. So this is just a reality that people have to understand. Prince Seller says, Mr. Isaac, is this tax intended solely for health benefit improvements, or is it a mechanism for revenue generation given the high projected income from it? But you answer the question is so rhetorical. It is a mechanism for revenue generation given the high projected income from it. The government has seen a class of people who they can impose tax on, knowing that the lifestyle change is not something that can be curbed. And because it's not something that can be curbed, by the time any significant health gains come from it, they would have significantly made a lot of money, a lot of revenue from it. It's like the conversation about no new taxes, but they have to have meetings with transport authorities to stop pounding vehicles and writing multiple tickets, and sometimes the tickets aren't even justifiable. If every person were to go to trial, the court would be bombarded with tickets that are useless, but because they can print them. So ways to tax the people. I tell you, you know, if you know anything about Julius Caesar and you know Brutus and you know the end of Caesar, you would understand. And but them always say, give to Caesar what is due to Caesar, but Caesar did overdo it. And this is one of those times where I would put to the people that we remember, you know, we're talking about poor people versus taxes. And for those who don't like the word poor people, you're living in what I call the performative stability falsity of life. And it must be rejected. But let's say you're one of them people that way you're living the healthy lifestyle, so that not affect you because you don't even put sugar in your tea, you use honey. You understand? And you, when you take your coffee, you don't put no milk and no creamer in there. You just take your coffee black. So that not apply to you. And because you know, say you not deal with the sugar, you just I go just know say me right now, me just don't those things don't affect me. Plus, I shop on Shein and I do all my shopping online. I don't even like Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Call me hype. Me don't do those things. And I shop online. Well, they thought about you too. So when it came to the digital taxes, and they said they were gonna do stuff like services. So it was left to um Netflix and HBO Max and all of these things, internet stuff. Well, one of the time I was like, I wonder if them did I go for TikTok, tap up the screen and share the live, my people. Come on, take me to 20,000 hearts. Or I thought they were going to um see if they could get GCT off of the Instagram and the Facebook and the subscriptions and everything. And then I start at my concern before the hearing the finance minister, and I raised it with the minister of education, and I raised it with the finance minister. And I said, is this going to be a case where you are taxing the educational um, programs, whether it be Adobe, whether it be ebooks and e-learning applications, at a time when we're trying to improve the school system, the whole road to ensuring children have laptops and tablets so that they could learn in school. At a time like this, where you go in there, and if so, there should be exemptions for schools. and public schools, and how we want to bring the proficiency of the educated population in Jamaica, how we wanted to ensure that young people were getting the quality of education that would make them competitive in the market globally, right? And of course, this was what we were leaving. And if you heard from Chris Brown, member from Northeast, Southeast St. Mary, asking those questions in relation to um, the digital economy and those taxes. And they shut him down and said that's a fourth quarter consideration. We no need to talk about that right now. And lo and behold, finance minister gets up. Brick Axel, she said, what would you have suggested Isa Buchanan read the tax? Julian Robinson, who is a finance minister, today in his budget, his 2 hour speech, or just under 2 hours, set it out nicely. And I'm inviting people to go to the PBC, the Public Broadcasting Commission, or whatever that station is called, and go on YouTube and watch his speech and get a full understanding of what the alternative is, because the suggestion as it is right now is not to tax the people at this time, not in that way. So that is what you need to understand. And when people say, yeah, you can say all you want, say, well, here's what, if persons wanted a survival plan, the response would have been to vote for the People's National Party. People's National Party would have been in government had they wanted a survival plan. And somebody can say, it's a moment for talk, except people of Portland Eastern voted for a survival plan, and it's that survival plan right now with the Rasta man is dealing with the bypass road. When I said protect your rights, and I will get into that later on, but I'm just pointing that out to you, that these things are important. So lo and behold, people, the finance minister gets up and starts to talk about the shopping industry. Let me put it that way, because I don't want to use no big word for people miss the point where me and make right here. So the finance minister gets up and says she attacks everything online. So if you go and try shop machine and Timu, Timu, you can get a TV and a 4 bedroom house for $1.99. Temu, Temu. Yeah, yeah. See that TEMU, $1.99 can get you a 4 bedroom house and a GLC Range Rover slash Mercedes quadruple on time ting. Knock off. But you get the point. And them ship it to Jamaica same time through ship me and all of that. And no thought of all of these young people that had been so innovative that they would ship the things that you needed right to your door, like DoorDash and these things. And shout out, yeah? Shout out to Tasha. Cause when you're there Portland and you're hungry, you have to go to Laura. Yeah, you go there and the shipping place there, so you pick up your package and you pick up your good food same time. Healthy choice to eat, Laura. But anyway, yeah. So all those people who hype and used to get them ship me and shop on Shein and everything, and you go pick up your packages and your Amazon and your this and your that. Radam, because the stores are losing. And I don't say I'm not saying that there's a problem, but the adjustment must come from the retail and the business. So the subsidy must not come off the backs of poor people. So remember, there was a big thing about raising the duty-free concession from $50 to $100, and then you take it away by virtue of your announcement of this form of tax. So I want people to, me, I'm trying to speak the language so people can know what I go on, right? And even, me, I feel wonder if context matters, if them are going to tax that too. Yeah? Me, I feel wonder if when me dep on TikTok and them a tap up the screen and I give me the rose, them and I give me, well, they stop give me line from a turn MP. Me don't know what me do. What me do now? What me do now? But I only get the point. And when these things have changed, every way that young people have found a way to escape poverty, the government are run them down for take it back. So these are poor people taxing mechanisms to hurt the poor, to keep them impoverished and dependent on politicians. This might sound careless, but say something otherwise, because at this time post Melissa, the manner in which the taxes have come down cannot be acceptable. That's my submission on that. So the minute you start to tell me, say, if I want a piece of Adidas gear, I can't shop online because I gotta use my credit card. Or it's so hard to get the credit card. I'm gonna use my credit card and you try to find a way to collect their GCT on things I buy a foreign, which already have feet tax over there. So it says to me that you want me for stay bad. I'm could have said it, because it shouldn't they be taxing the people who go foreign, go use the foreign hospital them. Shouldn't there be some tax to say when you take plane and you go foreign hospital, you need to pay Jamaica taxes too? Because you're so affluent and you get to use the facilities of foreign. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, when it comes to poor people and how they treat them, it is clear, clear as day. The writing is on the wall, unchallenged. Nobody can challenge me on this. These taxes, as it is a way of shaking down the pockets of people who already don't have no money. It's coins a jingle, a the jingle, jingle, jingle. So when you hear the sound of the bell is to empty your pocket, all of your silver have to come out. And we must understand, this is coming off the back that the budget previously was subsidized by taking advance payment from Norman International Airport and Donald Sangster. And now turning back, giving some $13 billion in subsidies to these airports after you lose future earnings. And you're not going to be able to collect any future earnings for a long time. 12 years, possibly. So we're not having the conversation, having done that and boasting about no new taxes for the last 10 years, which was not the case. But now coming to reality that the significant burden is going to be placed on the people. Yeah? And I'm not going to, so let me tell you, it is a great feat. As I said, the most significant thing that came from the finance minister was that she's the first female finance minister. An important milestone in the advancement of women in this country. But respectfully, we've had a first female prime minister, which is the creme de la creme. And we have female ministers in every sector. We have a female minister of education that's mothering the education system as we speak. And the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange has been the Minister of Culture and Sports for a very long time now. And there are women in parliament that hold ministry positions and have held ministry positions of significance. And so, as these personal milestones are made, show me the benefit to the people who need to recover. Show me the houses built and we're going into 6 months. Show me the consideration of the restoration of the lives of the people. Yeah, wake the town and tell the people, show me. And majority of the help The humanitarian aid came from the people in the diaspora who are oftentimes disappointed and disgusted with the approach because there's still people who have not recovered. And here we are talking about performative stability. And on top of that, we are taxing people. And I don't need to talk about the school bus scandal and the many other scandals that have come to forefront. A wasting of taxpayers' money and then come and say, and we're going to tax you. And if you're looking on your light bills, you will see that a lot of them, every dollar that you that of that $150 million that was given to JPS is coming on your bill. You I got half a pay for it. Man, ask Christ when them hit you with fuel and IPP charges. So no matter how pretty they want to make it look, you get taxed left, right, and center. And if you leave it to the approach taken by this government by taxing sugary drinks, by taxing the digital space, even though they say it's the fourth quarter, by taxing, well, me I have no problem. You could have taxed cigarette till cigarette don't sell. Cigarette, from my view, just wrong. And even that, again, is a habit because when they tackle cigarette, just like the sugar, which is an addiction, they know that the people who smoke cigarette now stop smoke it. I'm gonna ask you, if my father is listening, I tell him don't smoke cigarette and him don't business. This is years on top of years. People don't quit smoking. And for those who do, and even on the box, it tell you about the lung cancer and people have mouth cancer, throat cancer, them have all kind of things. And let me tell you something, they still gonna buy it. And this is how economy works. They're just all, even with inflation, but we are human beings that have habits. We buy toothpaste without checking the cost of it with the things that we find essential to our lives. Yeah? And so I'm only, somebody says smoke cocoa leaf. I don't even know how that, I don't know what to say. But I'm just saying that people must have an understanding that you want your government to care about poor people because it is they who, when we look to see if they are surviving, will say to us that we are okay. We don't live in a bubble. Somebody said chickabow, chickabow. Oh boy, big youth. Yeah. So I'm raising that, and I'm saying because I want people to understand this and don't take it lightly. Yeah. This is a serious attack on poor people in this country. So you can tell me, you can text it, say however you feel. If you think I am being political by saying that at this time, yeah, this is not a bitter medicine conversation. Yeah, this is not drink up your Cersei and your single Bible. Yeah, as Dr. Dave Campbell would have said, this the eucalyptus solution is not to tax poor people and bring down hardship on them. To all those people in the West that's doing everything to put their lives back together. And for those who did get a trailer home and those who did get a check and is able to put on back a roof even if them don't have the house. For those who got something, and yeah, God is good because it could have been like those who didn't get nothing. Yeah. But what we have to say is somebody said my mom said the price for two oranges she just left. Yeah. And so you can't afford to buy orange. You can't afford to buy watermelon. You can't afford to buy some lime, much less the coconut and mix it all up. You can't do that. And so what you are left with is the reality that the things that will make you survive is the very things that they're coming at you with. And so what we ought to be promoting is a healthy lifestyle. What we are to be promoting is access to the things that we also need in a global space. So don't take it lightly, we are seeing on the internet how people are living in other places in the world. So we don't sit down like we live in the village and we play poker talk and we live in other huts and the floor is made of clay and all of those things. We see the marble tiles and we see the ceramic and we see the porcelain tiles, we see the walls and we see the opulence. We see the people living good. We see the people, yeah? And we have ambition. After we don't know, me don't know nobody in a Jamaica when I have ambition. Every Jamaican is a star. Everyone. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have Gully Bop. May his soul rest in peace. Yeah? Why did I single him out? Where did they get it? Yeah. If that were the case. So you see, when people talk about my survival story, my ghetto story, and we remember those days when hell was my home. Yeah, yeah, we know that. But as I say, every Jamaican is a star. So we don't want nobody small we up. We don't want nobody exclude we, and we don't want nobody pressure we. Especially when we know say we have to fend for ourselves. We live in a high crime society. Of the youth them say it's not murder, they call it something else. Them say it's statistics, they say it's not unaliving. Um, these things are real. And in all of that, they come back and say you will pay your taxes. And I can tell you can ask the young people, trying people in Portland when Transport Authority take away them vehicle. I have to go to court to get the vehicle released. Because you take away a young trying man vehicle and the man a pay loan upon it and expect it to be on the road to make a money to make sure say him can pay. But you want to pound it and keep it for 90 days before the next court appearance. These are all alternative ways to tax and pressure poor people, trying people who, no matter what it is, whether you can read and write and whether you go university and the skill, you find a way to make sure so you're not excluded. And they're coming more and more and more and just a stack it up on you. So you can be worthless, so them can look upon you until you say you're worthless, and that's why them have to fill you up with bullets. Yeah? These days you can't even tell if somebody not comb them here because them not have a comb or they can't afford it and they can't go barber because everything is expensive. When you're living in a place where where the poverty is defined in such a way that you have to make decisions between whether you're gonna brush your teeth or wash your face. Yeah? Or bathe. But then we have rich people when I like bathe. So me I go strike that from the record. The bathing thing, leave that one there alone. Yeah? But I want people to understand. So the budget is not something that is fly by night. No. And fiscal performance is important. Um, the all of the nice fancy words is important. I'm talking to a set of people who just need to know what going on without people telling them things that's over them head. So let me speak the language that people understand. Because any day you want to get your favorite food and you can't get it. Cause me always tell myself, you see, as long as me can go supermarket and buy the food where me know say me like as a man we can't cook. Yeah? Then me alright. So why when you make the taxes, you have to tax the one little Arizona drink, so me drink, so make sure say me have little energy, you tax it. That's how I look at it. So the man will know say all him do a drink bag juice. One little juice what him can afford, you have to tax it. And you tax the Arizona and I send me now for go drink bag juice pan base. Yeah? And yeah, my suit them with them tees, me say the whole of the arm them tied. I online my shop. So you tell me say Timu will give me my suit them for $1.99 and then plus shipping and handling. You want to send me cause you want me go buy one suit for $80,000 down at least Fifth Avenue or going on Mars and get it for $60,000. Yeah? See it there? FB, you know what it is? Temu suits, $1.97 each. No taxes. What? Yeah. I that you want because you want to bring me down. You want me going up high and you want my boot lean. Because me know in a government, you know. And them I spend money and them have the budget. You know believe me? From breeze blow last year, me I beg the agricultural minister for fish wire. So me can make sure say the youth them in a Portland can make back them fish pot. So then can catch the fish and the lobster. Yeah? More people understand that not one fish wire. You know what the man say? You're not getting a fish wire because we never want to give you what left. And we give all of it to West Portland. And you know things that them have so much bus in our West Portland, them would need fish wire. But anyway, I digress. So I want people to understand, say, is how it affects you. So nobody thinks say you're excluded. Cause you could have out there beg at the stoplight and a white glass. When you're thirsty and you go over the store for go get, you for go get a little boom for give more energy. Tax step on that. And 5 more glass you have to go wipe if you can get your boom. Remember me did tell you that. So it's affecting you in your daily life and you not see it. You not know it. And anyway, the sugary drinks there you get taxed. When you go to your favorite fast food restaurant and them give you the soda with the meal, it a got tax, it a got increase. Yeah? So try know that. Anywhere, anyhow. And that is just one part of it. Somebody said they're not seeing me. I don't know why you're not seeing me, because I'm seeing me. Mark Anthony expensive. You know, one time a girlfriend gave me a Mark Anthony gift card for my birthday. It's expensive. So anyway, I'm making the point, and I want people to appreciate, because I I am not in no way fighting against rich people, but rich people them all right, them survive. Yeah, they survive. They don't use the facilities that you use as a poor person, and that's just the truth. That's just the truth. You need to turn your face to the camera. Oh, but my face is turned. I'm multiple cameras. Yeah. And so I want people to just stop for a minute and have a true appreciation for what is ahead for Jamaicans in Jamaica, because the tourism industry is being taxed as well. So you see the rafters men who are there in Portland, who has tourism activities, them are taxed that. And them man they not get no pension from TPDCO and TEF not concerned about them. Yeah? So I want people to appreciate that when you are making the place competitive. Remember, you know, the white people in the world, when them will look and said, too much taxes, I'm just gonna go to Barbados. And then we there for suffer. And the trickle down is that the workers are the ones who are going to be suffering. So when you look and then nice speeches that come and say, brace for the hardship. Yeah? Especially when it didn't have to be that way. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And Julian set it out today. Let me tell you, him set it out today and say it was a complete difference. For instance, this continuous raiding like Alibaba and the 40 thieves of the NHT. Yeah? The non-removal of asset tax. These are mechanisms that ensure that the least among us don't get access to improved living. Yeah? And somebody said there's nothing wrong in taxing sugary drinks, but they left out the part at this time, post Melissa. So you see, the reasoning is is flawed, but I do understand that logic is not for everyone. Yeah, consistency in arguments and coming to conclusions that are consistent with the previous is not for everyone, and I accept that. All I can do is try to say to people, yes, yes, all I can say to people is that you should look for how your life is affected and how your life will change as a result of the projections, as a result of the budget and what this government is aiming to achieve on the backs of poor people. No, I know, and you know, I would say this. If the Prime Minister adopted the approach of Julian Robinson, nobody would be mad. And nobody, because this is not a political thing, you know. This is saving the least among us. This is ensuring that the road to recovery is not performative. This is ensuring that we actually recover. Nobody knows it. Listen, sometimes me get some these days me have to wonder if a truck pass too hard and the building shake. Me say a earthquake that? Me just no know, cause we just never gonna be ready for that. We don't know if 2 consecutive years we've had storms. We don't know if a third one is coming. Yeah? We don't know what is to come. And so we have to be prospective in our preparation while we are delivering replacement and reassessment and rebuilding in a way that we don't have to suffer as hard. Because we survive, you know. We dodge a bullet. And even the West, as destroyed as they were, they proved that we are a resilient nation. But it comes from assistance. So don't take it lightly when you saw all the entertainers and all of the bloggers and the influencers and all the influential people from out of foreign me call it, you know, out of America and them place there, and them come here and they're doing their work. Because I can tell you before I go on the commercial breaks, I'll take this 2 minutes to tell you that, listen, man, as a member of parliament, it is charity that has been the saving grace. A lot of people, they're not watching what's happening in real time, and the disparity, the inequitable treatment of the citizens of this country. So if not for the diaspora whom I've been connected to through Context Matters, Partner Draw TV, Will Rattigan Show, you know, Carlos, Wayne Lonesome, Wayne out of England, everybody, Mystic Sensation. I'm calling all of these shows because the diaspora are the people who you get the random calls. Even this morning I woke up and somebody says Draper's primary, sending money so that you can give it to them. Principal, I'm coming to you with your money. And if people say, here are barrels, here's the shoes, here's the clothes, here's everything that you need for the people, to serve the people, because that is your duty. You're supposed to be serving them. You're not supposed to be burdening them. How does service becomes burden? So I have to put that out to say that the charity that this country, this nation experience, the millions of dollars, yeah, that translate to billions of dollars in Jamaican money. That was what that was given to the Jamaican people by the world who love Jamaica. And they love Jamaica because they love the people. How can you suffer the people, the poor people of this country? That is my question. We'll be back in 5 minutes after the break. And remember, next week, the time is 4 o'clock Jamaica time and 5 o'clock America time. We'll be back. Soon come. Yeah, man, the commercial break up in another 2 minutes. That's why you see me I mute the mic. So I know the sound is not there. I was doing jingles in the meantime. So just hold tight. 2 more minutes. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're now experiencing the second hour of Context Matters. This Context Matters is called the budget debate, poor people versus taxes. Um, and we did speak about the two presentations on Tuesday. The finance minister, first female finance minister, um, did her contribution. She opened at least, she opened the budget, and then Julian Robinson, um, opposition spokesperson on finance, did his presentation today. An excellent presentation which presented an alternative that would be no taxing of the sugary drinks and the digital aspect, as well as even taxing cigarette and taxing alcohol and taxing tourism. But the key focus from Julian, of course, was the response to the sugary drinks, the response to the digital tax, and the use of the NHT, the continuous bleeding of the NHT, the failure of the government to remove the asset tax. It was a well thought out, mature consideration was put into his presentation today, and he gave them eucalyptus anecdotes, yeah, to remove the what they call the bitter medicine that this government has put on the people, taxing in the form of health benefits with an intention to take from the pockets of poor people $10 billion. So let me tell you, that aside, we're at an impasse in this country now. We reach a point in this country where the people is gonna say he who feels it knows it. Cause you're not gonna feel it. Uno are gonna feel it. And by the uno, we are gonna feel it. Cause me and uno, just know that. And the result of that is, what are we going to do moving forward? Because what is ahead of us, especially the uncertainties of natural disasters. And I don't want to tell you about the roadwork network. I don't want to tell you about the state of the health ministry or the health sector. I don't want to talk about scandal after scandal. This has nothing to do with that. The focus is on improving the lives of the people. Taxes that's attack as a direct attack on poor people. This is the reality, and this is what we're looking at, and how are we going to address this, and how are we going to deal with this. This is a live real life problem that Jamaica is faced with. While there is what is known as performative stability, the reality is that the road to recovery is a rocky road. The road is so rough, and it's a rocky road. The road is so rough. You get the point? I don't know why you can't see me. Is anybody having trouble seeing me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Good. So we're looking at this reality, and we are also saying that, Jamaica, despite the improvements and the reduction in the murder rate, remains a high crime society. And with Jamaica being a high crime society, it means that the people of Jamaica have to find ways to fend for themselves in an economy that has taken a plunge because of natural disaster, in an economy that had appeared to be stable because of the future pulling down on future earnings of two significant ports, Norman Manley International and Daniel Sangster. The effects of it is creeping in now. And the result of that is taxes that will affect, and this is unchallenged, this is a reality. It ultimately will affect poor people and hit them the hardest. Yeah? And I can tell you, if it hit the poor people hard, the response oftentimes is a shift in behavior, and that behavior oftentimes relates to um, the possibility of crime spiraling. Yeah. And there has to be consideration of that, because at the end of the day, we have to look and say, what do we want for the people of Jamaica? What do we want for the sons and daughters of Jamaica? Yeah? What we want if we will picnic them? That is when me I ask. And this is not it. Having said that, +4 on 1% is the difference in the tax package proposed, or the budget proposed by Julian Robinson. So had the People's National Party been the government, certainly our approach would not have been to tax poor people in this manner. There is always a way to secure and ensure that you don't derail the improvement of the lives of the citizen of a country. Yeah? And I don't have to take it any higher than that. Because you see, the duty in especially in advocacy and representation is to ensure that the people you represent, that their lives are not derailed by all of the neglect from central government, where that applies, neglect from even being excluded when government is considering other spaces. There must always be a symbiotic relationship between yourself and the constituents, and just the natives of the constituency, to ensure that all their needs are addressed, whether or not they voted for you, because election is, it only come around 2 times: local government, and then general election. Of course, we knock on wood, there won't be attempts to force by-elections by the unaliving of public officials in spaces where, you know, those realities should never happen again. I'm just putting that out there. So that being said, what attacking poor people look like is the issue of land. And in Portland, while they're busy taxing sugary drinks and coconut out there, lime out there, orange out there, carrot out there, everything out there for you to live on the land. Sweet sap, sour sap, berry, jackfruit, you name it. Yeah, the rural experience is somewhat different, and you probably can get the right bitters and the right washout for make sure say diabetes not take it, cause you have to drink whole heap of bag juice, cause everything tax and everything raised and hard. Yeah? See guava out there too. Yeah man, yeah man. Tamarind out there. Everything out there. Let me tell you something. Everything out there. So I want you appreciate that. But while all of this is happening, cause when you're poor, your family not necessarily get no land for give you. Yeah. You don't get the luxury of that. And what does that mean? Well, let me tell you. It means say sometimes at time for you get big. Yeah. Family expand. Picnic barn. You see what I say? Relationships work and relationship fails. So multiple blendedness in the family. 2 fathers, 3 baby mothers, whatever the situation is. Multiple children with different partners. But picnic them have to get fed, and them have to go to school, and them have to wear school uniform, and them have to get them bag, and them have to buy them book. Yeah? And if them here no cut properly, teacher send them home. If them try to grow little dreadlocks, teacher send them home, because we're a Christian society and rules are rules. If you don't like the rules, get out the school. Yeah? And all these things are real. And so post Melissa, here comes when so many people in the West and people in the East, even though nobody thought of them or cared about them, lost their homes after the hurricane. Roofs were blown off and no, not one check cut yet. Yeah? For Portland Eastern. Let me make that clear. But in comes the bypass that affects 313 structures. Yeah? Whether it be, and if you want to say 297 parcels of land, these people are now affected. Here is the government saying, we don't care about Melissa. What we are going to do is build. And if you're in Portland and you're passing Folly, I'm in possession of a document that says that they're building hotel and housing scheme and everything right at Folly, with no conversation about how they're preserving the heritage and Folly ruins, no conversation, not even a letter to say this is what we're doing. But I can tell you, if you drive past Folly right now, them a dig out and a ox out the hole. You think say go all over there the way them a when I say dig it out, them a dig it out, take out the palm trees, the coconut tree, the greenage, the roughage, everything that prevent flooding. It just ox out right now. No conversation, no consultation. People just do whatever they want to do. No respect for the space. But similar to that, this bypass from Norwich to Turtle Crawl, phase one that is going above the town, and the effect of it is NEPA hasn't commented fully yet whether or not it's going to mandate that the local drains, which can barely manage, is going to be flooding. Oh, people are asking me about pure water. Yeah, email me and I will send you the link where you can buy your pure water. Because if you're not drinking pure water, you're not poor. Your face bumpy, bumpy, and you look like you're not drinking pure water. Anyway, getting back to what I'm saying. And the reality is this: people will have to enter into negotiations and conversations with the government of Jamaica to ensure that they are not excluded and disenfranchised. They're going to have conversations about displacement and compensation. And so I raised that in Parliament because I'm the member of Parliament that told people that your lands are in jeopardy under this current government. And land rights is located at section 15 of the charter, property rights. And the section 15 of the charter governs that no, it governs the process in which government can take your land, even by compulsory acquisition. And even that must be demonstrably justifiable in a free and democratic society. It is a constitutional right. And so it means that the compensation in this dispensation must one be to make sure that there is reintegration and a selection that includes that inclusion will be there for you. You understand? So I question the ministers, both the land minister and the road minister, and both of them say, listen, they're building this bypass, and the Prime Minister has assured that the replacement value is a consideration on the table. And the Honorable Mr. Bobby Robert Montague says, come talk to me, ISAT. And that is what is happening right now. I make these issues public because the road and the improvement, NWA acts in the capacity of the Silver Surfer. If you watch Fantastic Four, you know the Silver Surfer go around the universe and devour worlds. destroy lives, displace and ruin people. And that is what happens. So improvement is good enough at what cost and at what price? That is the true question that is asked. That is the true questions that people need answers for. And so, yes, I have offered my services to the persons affected by the bypass to ensure that the conversations that we have with the relevant agencies will prove fruitful. I have taken it upon myself to identify all lands owned by the government so that people can be relocated where necessary and that the government makes provisions to ensure that post Melissa, during a recovery period, that people aren't left in the dark and homeless. I don't know any nation that sets out on a mission to make people homeless. We are to be building homes. That's what NHT was for. So when you're taking $14 billion out of NHT and not providing affordable homes, this is the result. And it is not enough to say that the compensation is at market value, because market value is useless, especially when inflation is hitting and taxes and all of that. Because one thing affects the other. Yes? One thing affects the other, and I want people to understand that and know that. Do not take it lightly. Let me tell you one thing affects the other. When you're up on TikTok, one time people send you all 5 lion cause them did have money. Now when them here say them tax back juice, they never want to send you the rose again. And Auntie Flavor done say she planned for tax the digital space. So Rose and them and all of them over there, so we make the whole heap of money we can buy car and Akeem can take her go hotel. Yeah? And she can say Jakes can keep the picnic them because it's a stressor. See now Jakes I gotta say come take back your picnic rose because I can't buy so much bag juice one time. And plus then stop send the lion and them stop top up the screen and stop share and all of them things there. So it not gonna work again. And so what you're going to have is a reality that people cannot find themselves stabilizing and normalizing, and lifestyles will digress and decrease. The quality of life will decrease as a result. And so it is important that when we're thinking about persons where quality of life is decreasing, that you don't make them homeless as well. Because the irony about it is that the homeless shelter, which was already opened twice by the government during the campaign period in Port Antonio, is not open. It's not open to facilitate the homeless. It is just a drop-in spot as it is right now. When there are competent, qualified citizens right there in Portland who could fill the job vacancies. So everything must not always be political because you want what is best for the people in the localities where you are. So wherever you are in Jamaica, you must think about the least among you. And we must remove this conversation, because out of this interaction, the good that will come from the bypass is that people will finally understand that we must get away from just calling people squatter. You know, this very week, I had to call my office manager. Yes, Minister D. I had to call the office manager, and I had to say, you have to quickly inform the people at the office that should an attorney attempt to put the people bed and the people underwear and the people drawers pan Duke Street, that you must tell them that it is distasteful, unethical, and a breach of the codes of conduct as an attorney. It's a breach of the canons to act in such a crass manner. And the thought that people have no respect for human dignity. When them ready for dip up under you, them will bring you mattress with the stain them on it and bring it right down a waterfront and ball out your name. And just that. And these are people who they're not poor. Maybe poor taste and poor class. But I promise you, if it were me, it would be on the front page. But it would never be me because I don't conduct myself like that. So whether they want to burn down office or throw you out of office, distasteful behavior, what you have to understand is when private citizens act like that, it's a matter of culture and it's a matter of class and it's a matter of brought up, say. Um, but when the government is treating people like that, so we must get away from the idea that when it comes to property, we call in our brothers and sisters squatters. They're adverse possessors. And if you catch them before they reach the limit of adverse possession, you get to say, I got you. Now come off of my land. But when they're there and they've developed their homes and their lives and them reach the 12 years, Recreation Holdings Limited says, no, that person has a right by adverse possession, and the necessary law makes it so that the application, when formally made, ought to be granted. So when somebody has defeated your title where you have under your granny mattress and you're there England and you're in the snow and you hype, or you're there foreign and you hype and you work and you drive GLE and you drive all of the big car them, yeah? Because you have three jobs, one security work, one where you work with the old people them, and the next one you work as a bouncer, and the money are coming. And you know, send it to me, no. And ICE a look for you. So you hide out a little bit. And when them hold you, them are gonna deport you and Buju song are gonna play for you. So no you do. But you can't make Buju song play for you and then you never secure your land. Because you can't come here as a deportee and then feel say you want to fight people for your granny land where you never did care about when you did run off and they are foreign. And now Trump a look for you and talk about, yeah, man, my granny had a land down there and some people is on it and I want to get them off. No, it don't work like that. When adverse possession lick you like gas in your belly, yeah? You have to just deal with that. Adverse possession means say your rights gone. So it is that I have to deal with people respectfully, because when they have acquired that right, you cannot deny them of the right that they have. And we're supposed to have more meaningful conversations about this and how the government treats with that. Like a peculiar situation is taking place. And I'm going to share it because it's a development that will take place when it is that persons are unfortunately deceased. The families go out and they pay the parish council or the relevant authorities for the plots. Some people even have family plots. But one thing about Jamaican people, them will they will go into a cemetery, see, they will look left, look right, and realize that people stop coming to the cemetery and just say, me I go live here. And them them I go say, all right, how it I go work now? And them family have the conversation and then say, here lies Miss Matty, Mas Gussie, yeah, Sister Nancy and Punchilu. And between them four family there, that the family plot there, them say, here is where I'm going to set up my house and the shop at the front. And when people look and see, say, nobody now take up the new shop owner at in prime real estate, a cemetery front. A whole development happens and people there cemetery front and cemetery back. And that abandoned cemetery with all the dead people, a private land. And if you are on there for 12 years, you have adversely possessed that land, and neither parish council or the cemetery authority can come to you and tell you, say, you must come off a government land because government sold the lots to the people, the family plots. And if who would come one thing, dead man don't talk a court. So see Miss Mattia come talk about me have the rightful possession of the 6 by 6. You have to take that things a joke. But one thing about it, if you want changes in the law and advancement in the law, just leave it to Jamaican people. They are resilient people. And that is how people, the state and the reality is that people always want to live somewhere. Maslow's laws of hierarchy speaks about the basic needs, your physiological needs. Food, clothes, shelter. And you best believe it, shelter is at cemetery front. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And how we treat with them when a highway decides that it's going to come is with the same respect. Because if I adverse possess Miss Matty Mascosi, Punchilu, and Sister Nancy, who can stop me now? 12 years pass. Now what? Just appreciate what I'm saying. And so the conversations had to be had because we have people, and I hear the cries. I hear if I just get 7 sheet of zinc and 4 ply and couple bricks, me can set up shelter. It used to be home is where the house is, but boy, these days home is where you can pitch a tent. Yeah. And we have to deal with that reality that for those of you who are in your performative stability phase and you can pay rent, and we know that even though you're paying the rent, you don't even have mackerel in the cupboards. The roaches don't even want to stay and be a guest in your home because you can't feed them. Kudos to you. But for the rest of us that are just trying to survive, we don't need the pressures of government to destabilize us any further than we already are. I won't even introduce the mental health issues that come with it. And in that is we have a whole population that needs protection, and that's the youth. I don't know, people have not had the conversation as yet, and I'm going to enter the conversation and say this. An incident took place at Ocherios High School, and students who were displaced from their schools ended up at that school. An integration that was messy. A conversation that should be a conversation of the nation to ensure that the children who are suffering from displacement and trauma aren't acting out, and as a result, their lives are destroyed because of lack of management. It is a conversation that we have to have because a family lost a son who cannot be replaced because death is final. But another family has been put and spiraled into a place where the child is being treated as if there is some big man that was wielding a gun, and that was not the case. And so we have to rethink how we treat our youth. Situation ethics is what Jesus used to deal with, and I used to wonder when I studied Christology why Jesus a move so. But I understand, fully comprehend now why it is important to assess situations and protect people in their mental health. and to ensure that when you displace people, you do so with the psychological trauma that comes with it. We are a nation that have suffered from post-traumatic slave syndrome, and people ask us to forget the wickedness that was placed upon us. People ask us to pretend that trauma is a normal reality. That sometimes the pressures and the tension that comes with oppression can come in the form of a budget that is attacking poor people. That oppression can come from displacement. That oppression comes from labeling people. Modern day oppression can come from the way we narrate the narratives that the narratives that we put out there, the way we narrate, yeah, and what it looks like and what it sounds like, how we package oppression in the name of performative stability, performative economical growth, and throw around numbers and statistics, excluding the lived human experience. How we expect our youth to respond when males are marginalized in a society and thrown to the side and classed as violent contributors. In these days, you can be 14 and 13, and grown people refer to you as dons and leaders of gangs. And when children play and they play rough, and when children are ventilating emotional trauma, you know, in America, white children get the pleasure of being afforded with the defense of affluenza. And doctors take the stand and said, when little Timmy was 5, he went to Toys R Us and he saw the Dora Explorer doll and wanted it. And his mother says, no, Timmy, you can't play with Dora because you have to also get the little monkey that comes with Dora. And says no, and then Timmy catches a tantrum, and thereafter, when he's 19, he gets a Range Rover and he drives it into a crowd at the club. And then they said that this could never be murder because little Timmy didn't get the Dora doll. Yeah. And they do everything to protect their children, including now. They have decided that when teenagers in America find themselves in mass unaliving in schools, that they charge the parents. Because parents in Jamaica who are uncontrollable instead say they are uncontrollable minors because they don't understand that the next generation needs guidance. But who will guide you when people busy I try to find out how them are gonna get for pay for the bag juice who are gonna go in your lunchbox? Who will guide you when they can't buy a school uniform? Who will guide you when there is oppression coming from the very people who you're voting to represent you and to make sure that you're okay? And I'm not talking about giveaways. I'm not talking about care packages and temporary fixes. I'm talking about improving lives. Yeah? So much so that you find yourself in a whole parish where the hospital is a C-type hospital. And if there's going to be improvement, certainly in this fiscal year, it's going to come from the diaspora. If you want hospital beds that are improving, it's going to come from the beggings where you beg are foreign. Because the government is not going to look to it because the people of Portland Eastern aren't a priority. Because maybe the people on the belt, the tourism belt, are have to look a little better because tourists walk up and down there more. And total neglect of tourism product in a place where it's the first and most booming natural resources for the tourism activities. Yeah. So somebody says, what's the fix? Well, the fix is to ensure that oppression doesn't reach the poor people by taxing them at a time when we are recovering. Mature conversations with the Jamaican people on the best way forward. Sometimes the answer is really to ask the people, what is it that you want, Because I can tell you something, when you do your public discourse and you ask people, I don't know if it's storytelling or if it's just the way the world is, but nobody have more wisdom than a one-teeth man in a crowd at a public rally. Yeah? Who take off him hat and put it to him chest and say, me not have all the sense in the world, but you see, if you don't tax the drink and you make the farmer then bring the tomato and you buy the potato them and you do this, the youth them will have something for drink. Cause me grow beetroot and me have cassava and me know say cassava can help with the cancer. And me know say this and that. And people listen to him and then everybody look round. And before you know it, the solution is coming from the man that has experience, the live experience, and him know say once you ease the oppression, that's all that is required. Development is essential to every country. But development that excludes the people is saying that you're replacing the people and they're developing it for who? So I am just going to leave it to say that ask yourselves as we progress and as the budget debate goes on, because on Tuesday we will hear from the opposition leader, Mark Golden. And on Thursday next week, so Tuesday is the 17th and Thursday is the 19th, we will hear from the Prime Minister. And then on the following Tuesday, the Minister of Finance will close the debate. And thereafter, the Constituency Development Fund will no doubt um, will be issued, and the members of parliament will be writing their programs and setting their allocations following public consultation. And make it be clear right now, my public consultation is next week, Friday. That's the 20th of March. And there, I'm inviting the public to come out and say, what is it? What is your vision? What do you want? And we will take it from there. And the vision for the way forward is important. It includes the people. The rights of the people is paramount to the existence and advancement of the nation, its economy, and its future. A future which lies with the youth. So people are free to feel they want how they want to feel and to continue to make issues of survival and issues of upliftment of life of your brothers and sisters a political one. But I can tell you that, when the fans stop work and things hit it, you know, is a whole different conversation when reality sets in. So I think that somebody said me grew up. Oh my God. Yeah. So I think I would have had the discussion that I want to have with everybody today. I just want to close this program to update Jamaica on a very important issue. I know it is not the school bus and the missing money and the audit that is taking place. And no, it's not conversation surrounding JPS. It's a issue that is important, and that is how we treat our youth who come in conflict with law, so that in a few short years they're not in body bags because of the ripened appetite of the powers that be to unalive anybody who have any form of resistance to the approach taken by crime fighting in this country, the labeling of or the future of this country as everything that is bad. And as I said, dead man don't talk in court. So here's the thing. The child diversion legislation is currently under review. I'm urging any organization, anybody with any competence whatsoever, to write your thoughts and ideas and submit them to the parliament. Feel free to indicate to the parliament that you have a contribution to make. There must be a way that we can steer the next generation away from incarceration. Incarceration is just a form of modern day slavery. It wastes the lives and productivity of the next generation and the future of this country. And the sooner we get a hold of crime by intercepting, prospectively intervening in the thinking process of the youth, the better Jamaica will be in the future. Yes? And here's the thing. While the child diversion legislation is being considered, many things have come out. I would say Jamaica is an oversex society, which they need to put the training wheels on so that people can understand the effects and the ramifications of decisions made. Criminalizing consensual sex between minors is something that we have to go away from. Public education is paramount to the future of the youth of the nation. And I'm the spokesperson, opposition spokesperson on youth and human rights. I must make that clear again. So I'm not speaking just out of basic opinion, but from an informed position on what it is that we should be thinking about. Pushing the envelope to ensure that young people, as I am talking to you, that is being arrested and put through the justice system because of imitation firearms. And if you're 17 and under, I'm going to take it one step further to say that even if you have a real firearm, there must be a procedure for possession simpliciter that doesn't include you being a guest of the king. So child diversion is going to be the tool that ensures that our youth are not stigmatized, cast aside, exiled, excluded, but that they become the best versions of themselves, because in these misbehaved, delinquent behaving children are some of the future doctors and lawyers and entertainers and runners and athletes and just everything great out of Jamaica. Right? And I just want people to understand that we should go back to the United Nations principles, the best interest of the child. And we should ensure that we protect our child. We must return to the village and raise every single child and treat our future youth as special, which they rightfully are, as being a Jamaican. There are few of us, we are the gems of the Caribbean along with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. Don't get it twisted. If you're coming out of Asia, enough of them and a little bit of we, and everything you learn when a designer make a little of something, it's expensive. And when you go find the pearls in the sea, a little of them it's expensive. So anything when a wagga wagga and whole heap is priceless and valuable. And we have to start to treat children as children. So when they misbehave, when they fight at school, the school have a duty to prevent that. The Supreme Court in this country just ruled against a high school because there was a fight at school and the young man got hurt. The family sued and the court says that the teachers had a duty to part the fight. So how do we get to children fighting that never include gun violence and all of the violence that the JCF said them out there a fight to analyzing? How did we get there? Because we stopped seeing children as children. When they were 6, 7, and 6, 9. If a picnic in your class and him are 6, 9, and 15, why are you not telling the coach to make him learn how to play basketball or learn how for keep goal or learn how to do high jump, long jump? Yeah? Why? Do you think, let me tell you something, man. I was this day years old when I heard that Sister Mary Joseph is still the principal for Stella Maris. But when my mother and father left me at Stella Maris in the care of the principal, Sister Mary Joseph, and the teachers, Miss Simpson and Miss Roden, and the ones who knew how to fling a dust at you and make sure it lick your big finger. Yeah. In those days, I don't think my parents would have ever thought that anything could happen to me at school except me drop and me scuff my knee. When did schools become an unsecured space? And we will have conversations about this, but I'm only raising it right now because the Joint Select Committee on Child Diversion, the child diversion legislation, is currently underway. The Ministry of Education gave an extraordinary presentation in terms of the things that are needed to improve the effectiveness of the Child Diversion Act. Yes, Jamaicans for Justice also gave an extraordinary suggestion. Didn't accept all of it. Hear the Children's Cry took an approach about how they feel about, young people having experimental activities. Serious conversation must be had in terms of the absurdity for allowing consensual sexual activity, but not having the GSA as a part of the diversion mechanism, and whether or not young people understand the magnitude of silence, non-verbal communication of no, and whether they understand, because even grown-ups don't, and therefore should situation graping, I think you have to say grape now, should also be a part of child diversion. And are we identifying violent behavior, deviant sexual practices, and not mixing it up with child experimentation? Are we curbing violence by suppossession, simpliciter being a part of child diversion to ensure that we have corrective measures? Should we draw the line by saying that non-violent, if that is a thing, or correcting behaviors that's influenced by environment and giving young people mentors so that they can know that they can be the Justice Sykes of this country, the Bert Samuels of this country, the Andrew Holness of this country, the Mark Goldings of this country. That if you're a child in conflict with the law, you can be a Isaac Buchanan of this country. That your life is something given to us without knowing you are to receive it, and you're a valuable person, and you're still a person. That mistakes of the past don't define who you are in the future, and that if you are able to rehabilitate and be diverted and understand the importance of integrity, accepting responsibility for mistakes made, and getting the necessary treatment to divert you, yeah, I'm just putting that out there. And when we look at this in its reality, what do we want for the future of Jamaica, and how are we protecting our children? And I can close by a simple thing. When it comes to Jamaican children, I think we just have to start treat them like they're white children. And maybe if we start treating our Jamaican children like white kids in America, because I can tell you that black kids in America suffer the same fate. Oftentimes, like here in Jamaica. So we have to pick up the slack somewhere. And so I urge persons to participate, be a part of what's happening with child diversion. If you're not somebody that like public discourse, feel free to send me a message on TikTok, send me a message on Instagram. If you have my number, send me the message. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your anything you contemplate, anything you hope for the future of the youth of this country. Yeah. And bring back fairness and equal opportunity, equitable treatment where necessary to how we treat our youth, because they become adults. And as long as hurt people, if we hurt them while they're young and don't correct them, we'll have a nation broken by hurt and the perpetual continuation of abuse. And that's my thought. So I want to thank everybody who was able to stay here and listen to anything that I had to say. And remember, every time today that, and it's not only them, it's not only Julian today, but every time Julian said I talk about the context, I always say context matters. And had I not been streaming from this location, I would have tell you how excited I was when the Chief Justice Brian Sykes in his sentencing of a very famous person said context matters. That's all I said. Yes, him right. Anything him say him right after that. But it's always good to know that we do have role models in this country, coming out of this country, that we can look to. And I urge young men, young women, and influential men and women in this country to step up as role models for young people in this country, mentor them, protect them from the harm and evils, not of just this society, but of the world. And remember, we do this every Thursday. Daylight saving times has caused it to now be 5 to 7 in America, the United States, and 4 to 6 in Jamaica until the time change again. So if you're tuning in from Best FM, it's 4 to 6. If you are in Jamaica and you're looking for context matters, it's 4 to 6. If you're in the US, The time remains 5 to 7 on Reggae Global Radio, YouTube, TikTok, and again 4 to 6 on Best FM. And this is how we do it. If you're in England, the time are just 6 hours ahead, so don't ramp with me. I'm not Damien, my math's not so good. But big up yourself and thank you for watching. See you guys next week. Blessings.